Good day to everyone, and thank you for being here. Before we begin our presentation on the Escort Railing ECRL projects, allow me to introduce myself and my teams. My name is Noor Asrina binti Sudin, and I am the group leader for these projects. Together with me, my teammates, which is Muhammad Sharul Nizam bin Omar, Amiruddin bin Nordins, and Muhammad Afiq Kushari, and the last one is Muhammad Sharul bin Mazi. And we move to the next, which is a list of the contents. Before we begin, let me give you a brief overview of today's presentations. And the firstly is the introductions and briefings. First, we start by introducing the Eastcoast Railings ECRL projects and its purpose. Second, impact of the project on the environments. Then we discuss how this large scale infrastructure project affects the environments, including both positive and negative outcome. Thirdly, does the project requires an environmental impact assessment EIA. In this part, we look at whether the ECRL projects needs an EIA and why is its importance. Fourthly, solutions to protect the environments. We also propose practical solution and strategies to reduce environmental damage during constructions and the operationals. Uh, Fifthly, relevance acts and regulations. We go over the main law environmental acts that are related to the project, such as the Environmental Quality Acts 1974, and the last ones are the conclusions that we summarize the key points and highlight the importance of balancing development with sustainability. Okay, the firstly we begin with the introduction and briefings. Good day to everyone. Today I will be presenting about the East Coast Rail Lines or ECRL, which is one of the Malaysia's most important infrastructure projects. The ECRL is a runway lines that stretches 665 kilometer, connecting to East Coast Stage, Kelantan, Terengganu and Pahang to the West Coast, specifically Selangor. The main goal of the ECRL is to enhance national connectivity. It's also designed to reduce travel time significantly. For example, a journey take normally times 7 hours by road can be complete in just about 4 hours by rain. And most importantly, the project support economy developments, and especially in rural and less development regions by improving access and opening up new opportunity. Now, let's look at some features of the projects. The ECRL is managed by Malaysian Railings, also known as MRLs, and constructed by Chino Communication Construction Company or CCCC. It will have around 20 stations, including both passengers and freight terminals. The line connects major cities like Kota Baru, Kuala Terengganu, Kuantan, and at the Port Kelangs. Technically, the project is quite advanced. It's included tunnel, bridge, and viaducts to overcome Malaysia healing trains and river. And it also uses modern tunnel techniques and emphasize green or environmental friendly construction practice. Once completed, it will be integrated with other rail line systems like KTM Berhad, and also support a major logistic hub. Okay, let's talk about the benefit of the ECRL. From an economic point of view, the ECRL will boost trade, tourism, and investments by improving transport and logistics. It will also create thousands of jobs, improve to access and provide skill training for a local worker, and especially in the East Coast regions. And the intent of the environmental efforts. The ECRL is designed to reduce traffic congestions and cut down on vehicle emissions, and it follows strict environmental impact assessment (EIA) standard to ensure the project does not harm nature unnecessarily. Okay, now let's look the social impacts of the ECRL projects. One of the key benefits is that it's improved access to essential services like education, healthcare, and public facility, especially for communities in remote and rural area. This project also promotes balanced development by connecting developer East Coast stage to more urbanism West Coast city. And this helped to reduce regional inequalities and encourage more equal growth across the country. And moving on to the strategic importance, the ECRL plays a vital role in strengthening national integrations and regional balance, and is aligned with Malaysia's long-term goals to become a regional transport and logistic hubs, especially in ASEAN. And additionally, the ECRS supports national development frameworks like RMK12 and My Digital, contributing to Malaysia border economics transformations. And overall, it's not just a runway; it's a strategic investment into the Malaysia futures. The next one is the conclusions for the introductions and briefings. The East Coast the East Coast Railing is a major infrastructure project that we connects the East and West Coast of Peninsula Malaysia. It will reduce travel times, improve transport efficiency, and support economic growth, especially in the East Coast stage, by improving connectivity and creating job and supporting local industry. The ECRLs will bring long-term benefit to the country with advanced engineering and sustainable planning, and the project is a step toward a better and more connecting Malaysia. And that's all from me. Move to the next presenter, Muhammad Sharun Nizam.
Assalamualaikum and hi. First of all, thank you to my friend Asrina. My name is Muhammad Sharun Nizam bin Omar and my ID is AA2200C. I will continue our presentation with impact of the project to the environment. During construction, first point is deforestation and habitat destruction. First point is building the SRM means cutting down forests to make way for the railway and station. Uh, this destroy the natural habitat of wildlife like tigers, elephants, and tapirs. When animals lose their home, they may wander into village and causing conflicts. Forest loss also leads to hotter temperatures, soil problem, and poor air and water quality. Next, air and noise pollution. Dust from digging and machinery fill the air, making it hard to breathe, especially for children, adults, and workers. Loud machine and blasting noises disturb people and scare animal away. Long-term exposure can lead to health issues and hearing loss. Third, soil erosion and sedimentation. Removing trees and plants make the soil loose. Second, heavy rain can wash the soil away, leading to landslides, especially on hills. Third, the washed away soil ends up in rivers, making water dirty and harming fish. This causes flooding and affect people who rely on river water. Water pollution and hydrological description. First, rain can wash soil and chemicals like oil or fuel from machine into river. This polluted water used by river and wildlife. Changing the natural flow of river can lead to floods and dry up streams. Last but not least, case study and legal frameworks. In a real example, in Pahang, tunnel construction near a sensitive forest, Center Forest Pay raised concern. The project responded by making fewer tunnels and adding safe wildlife crossing. Based on Malaysian law, Environmental Quality Act 1974 require environmental impact assessment (EIAS) for big projects. This rule help developer avoid causing too much environmental damage. After construction, first is ecosystem fragmentation. Even after the railways is built, it divides forests into smaller areas. Animals need large space to find food and mates. Barriers like railways make it hard for animals to move safely. Some way wander into roads and villages. Next, increase urbanization. New towns and business often grow around railway station. This means more land is clear for buildings, roads, and factories. It can cause floods, soil loss, and less space for animals. It also puts pressure on water and other resources. Pollution and environmental degradation. After the trains start running, they still make noise that scare animals. Maintenance chemicals might leak into a river. More people and vehicles in the area increase air and water pollution, and new factories create more waste. Next, environmental management and monitoring. After construction, it's important to keep checking the environment regularly. Planting trees help bring back nature and reduce carbon in the air. Safe waste disposal and water monitoring prevent pollution. These actions help keep both people and nature safe in the long run. Lastly, last, climate change implication. Trains are more energy efficient than car or truck, which help reduce carbon emission. But cutting down trees during construction adds carbon dioxide to the air. Urban development from the railway can also increase the pollution.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Afiq Shairi bin Jaafar and my matric number is AA22017. I will explain this section about either the project need EIA or not. This section explain why the Ecrl project legally and practically must undergo the EIA process before construction can be proceed. Firstly is legal requirement. Environmental Quality Act 1974 Ecrl 1974. EIA is a legal obligation. Any project that undergoes an environmental impact assessment EIA is legally obligated under the Environmental Quality Act 1974 and its related regulation. This emphasizes that certain development project must conduct an EIA by law. Next is regulated by the DOE. The Department of Environment (DOE) is a key body enforcing and regulating activity that have environmental concern and implication. This clarifies that the DOE is a government agency responsible for overseeing and enforcing the EQA 1974. Next is ensure environmental protection. The EIA process helps identify and evaluate potential environmental impact and suggest appropriate mitigation measures. This highlights the purpose of an EIA to identify environmental risks and propose ways to minimize them. Next is approval is mandatory before construction. Construction of the DCR cannot legally begin without the approval of the EIA by DOE, signifying a commitment to sustainable development. This crucial point indicates that obtaining EIA approval from the DOE is a prerequisite for any construction or development to commence, ensuring that environmental considerations are addressed before physical work begin. Move to the next point, which is project scale and environmental sensitivity and public participation and transparency. Let's start with the project scale and environmental sensitivity. Large geographic coverage. This project, especially the Ecrl, span a vast area stretching from Kelantan all the way to Port Klang. Each road traverses diverse landscape including dense forest, rolling hill, winding river, agriculture farm and even urban area. This wide coverage means it impacts a significant portion of our natural and human environment. High environmental sensitivity. The project corridor is not just vast but also highly sensitive environmental. It passes through critical areas such as forest reserve, which are vital for biodiversity, and water catchment zone, which are essential for our water supply. Any disturbance in this area can have far-reaching consequences. Next is risk of ecology impact. The construction activity, particularly extensive tunneling and bridge building, pose a significant threat to existing habitat and ecosystem. This method, while necessary, can fragment natural area, disturb wildlife and alter the delicate balance of the environment. Next is detailed EIA required. Give this considerable risk and the extensive nature of the project. A detailed environmental impact assessment is not just recommended but absolutely necessary. This DEIA must comprehensively cover all aspects including flora, fauna, water resources, soil stability and noise pollution to fully understand and mitigate potential impact. Now let's move on to the public participation and transparency, which is equally vital for a project of this magnitude. First is public review process. A cornerstone of transparency is the public review process. The EIA report is made publicly available for at least 1 month, allowing ample time for the public to review its finding, understand the implication and provide their valuable feedback. Engagement with stakeholder. Effective engagement goes beyond just the general public. It involves actively consulting with various stakeholders including affected community, non-government organization, NGO, local authority and academic expert. Their diverse perspectives are crucial for a well-rounded assessment. Next is developers' obligation. The developer have a clear obligation to respond to public concern and to incorporate the feedback received during the review period into the final EIA report. This ensures that public input is not just heard but acted upon. Next is improve accountability and planning. This entire process of public participation and transparency is designed to enhance accountability and improve planning. By building public trust and openly address concern, It helps to identify hidden environmental and social risks early on, leading to a more robust and sustainable project outcome. Now let's move to the next point, mitigation measure and environmental management and compliance and continuous monitoring. These are essential for ensuring the project is good and operate responsibly. To begin, focusing on mitigation measure and environmental management. Development of EMP, Environmental Management Plan. This document serves as the foundation roadmap. The EMP outline in detail precisely how negative environmental impact will be managed and reduced throughout the entire life cycle of the project, from the initial construction phase through to its operation. It functions as the comprehensive guide for environmental protection. Next is mitigation measure. Within the EMP, specific strategies are defined to lessen impact. These include crucial measures such as designing and implementing wildlife crossing to protect animal migration, robust erosion control to prevent soil degradation. Next is define responsibility. The EMP also clearly assigns role and responsibility. It outlines accountability for all parties involved, from contractor on the ground to dedicated environmental officer. Clear timeline are set, budget are allocated, and performance indicators are established to ensure that everyone involved understands their part in upholding environmental commitment. Next is DOE oversight. The Department of Environment (DOE) play a vital role in this process. It meticulously reviews the EMP for approval. This is not merely a formality. Failure to comply with this guideline and the approval EMP can lead to significant legal penalty, reinforcing the importance of adherence to environmental standards. Next is the compliance and continuous monitor. Ongoing environmental monitoring. Commitment to environmental protection extends beyond planning. Throughout their entire project life cycle, from construction to operation, continuous environmental monitoring is conducted. This comprehensively monitoring covers critical aspects like air quality, noise level, water quality, sedimentation, and the impact on biodiversity, ensuring environmental standards are consistently met. Independent auditing. To ensure objectivity and transparency, external environmental consultants are engaged. This independent experts conduct regular audit of operation and submit their detailed report direct to the regulatory authorities, providing an unbiased assessment of environmental performance. Next is corrective action. Should any non-compliant or unexpected environmental impact be observed, protocol dictate that immediate corrective measure must be taken. This ensures that any issues are addressed swiftly and effectively, minimizing potential harm and bringing the project back into compliance without delay. Lastly, the regulatory enforcement. The Department of Environment (DOE) holds the ultimate authority to enforce compliance. It can issue stop work order or impose fine to ensure full adherence to all EIA conditions. This regulatory power is a critical safeguard for environmental protection and hold the project accountable to the highest standard. Now let's move to the last point, multiple EIA submission for different project phase. This approach is crucial for managing large-scale projects effectively and responsibly. Let's break down this concept. Segmented EIA approach. The ECRL project, for instance, utilized multiple environmental impact assessment reports. Each report was specifically prepared for distant phase or segment of its route. This allows for a more focused and manageable assessment of environmental consideration as the project progresses. Next is adaptation to project change. Throughout the lifespan of a large project, change in alignment and design are often necessary. Such modification, perhaps driven by effort to reduce cost or mitigate environmental risk, necessitate new EIA submission. This ensure that every significant alteration is throughout assessed for its environmental implication. Next is localized environmental analysis. Each individual EIA report focuses intensely on the specific environmental condition of its particular segment. This includes detailed analysis of the terrain potential impact on nearby community and the unique ecosystem present within that localized area. This granular approach allows for highly targeted environmental planning. Next is flexible environmental strategy. This segment approach enables continuous update and ensure that every project modification is reviewed with fresh environmental assessment. It approaches a flexible environmental strategy that can adapt to evolving circumstances, ensuring that environmental concerns are addressed thoroughly at each stage of a complex project.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amiruddin bin Nordin and I will explain about solution how to protect the environment. Solution how to protect environment can be done during construction. First, noise pollution management plan. Noise during construction is primarily generated by heavy machinery and by activities like tunnel blasting. Contractors should use modern low noise equipment that is fitted with mufflers and acoustic enclosures. Construction activities should be restricted to daylight hours, for example from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Temporary noise barriers such as insulated steel panels or earthen berms should be installed around construction zone to help block the spread of sound. Real-time noise and vibration monitoring system should be implemented. Second, sediment and erosion control plan. When land is clear and the ground is dark and level, the soil becomes loose and is more likely to erode, especially during heavy rainfall. This loose soil can be washed into nearby rivers and streams, causing water pollution, harming aquatic life, and increasing the risk of downstream flooding. Installing fences, which are temporary fabric barriers, can effectively trap soil on site while allowing water to pass through. Constructing sediment basin or trap helps collect rainwater runoff and allow sediment to settle before the water is released into natural waterways. The third way is air pollution management plan. Construction activities such as earth-moving, excavation, vehicle movement, and operation of heavy machinery generate large amounts of dust and exhaust emission. This air pollutant can negatively affect local communities, construction workers, agricultural areas, and wildlife if not properly managed. A key method for controlling dust is regular water spraying on exposed soil, unpaved roads, and material stockpiles to prevent particles from becoming airborne. In high traffic areas or during particularly dry conditions, chemical dust suppressant or soil stabilizer can be applied for added control. And then the way is sustainable land use. Strategic land management is needed to balance ecological protection with the development of necessary infrastructure. Geographic Information System (GIS) are valuable tools that help planners visualize ecological landscapes and identify critical habitat that require protection. Establishing buffer zone is an important measure to safeguard sensitive ecological areas from the impact of development. Zoning regulation can be used to limit human activities in areas that are ecologically vulnerable. Wildlife corridors can be designated as no construction zone or developed under specific guidelines to minimize ecological disruption. Then, water quality management plan. Construction activities such as land clearing, earthwork, and concrete pouring can result in the release of sediments, oils, chemicals, and waste into nearby water bodies. This pollutant can damage aquatic ecosystem, contaminate drinking water sources, and breach environmental regulation. Construction sites should have designated areas for fuel storage, equipment washing, and chemical handling located away from drainage path and equipped with spill containment system. Wastewater from construction activities, including concrete works and tunnel dewatering, should be treated using sediment traps, settling tanks, or filtration units before being discharged. And the last solution, how to protect the environment during construction, is strict environmental monitoring. Regular monitoring and assessment of environmental factors such as air and water quality, noise levels, wildlife movement, and soil stability are essential to prevent construction from exceeding acceptable impact threshold. Monitoring should be conducted by impartial parties, ideally independent third-party consultants, to ensure transparency and credibility. All collected monitoring data must be properly documented, analyzed, and reported on a regular basis to relevant authorities like the Department of Environment. If any environmental indicator exceed the permissible limits, immediate corrective action should be taken. Now we move to the solution, how to protect the environment after the construction. Firstly, low emission rail operation. Using electric trains powered by cleaner energy sources is one of the most effective ways to reduce air and noise pollution from rail transport. Electric trains produce no direct emission along the track and operate more quietly than diesel power locomotives. In Malaysia, CRRC electric multiple unit EMU trains such as those used for KTM commuter and the ATS electric train service demonstrate this cleaner alternative. Operational strategies such as optimizing acceleration, deceleration, and speed pattern can also lower fuel and energy usage without affecting performance. Second, habitat restoration. Infrastructure development often leads to the clearing, fragmentation, or degradation of natural habitat such as forests, wetlands, rivers, and grassland. Rehabilitation efforts typically involve replanting native vegetation to restore the natural balance of the ecosystem. Reforestation plan must prioritize the use of local indigenous plant species to ensure ecological compatibility and reduce plant mortality. In areas near rivers or wetlands, restoring riparian zone help stabilize riverbanks, purify water, and create safe corridors and shelter to wildlife. In addition, we can use wildlife crossing. Implementing wildlife crossing after construction is a crucial step to allow animals to safely move across infrastructure like areas that fragment their habitats. Large-scale linear projects such as the East Coast Railing Ecrl can significantly disrupt wildlife migration and daily movement, especially in ecologically sensitive areas. Wildlife crossings such as underpasses, overpasses, culvert, and canopy bridges are designed to let animals cross railway tracks safely, reducing the risk of collision and death. Wildlife crossing must be strategically located using data from wildlife tracking and movement studies to align with established animal pathway. Then public education and engagement. Ongoing interaction with local communities, stakeholders, and the general public have increased awareness of the project's environmental, social, and economic impact. Educational initiatives can highlight the importance of conservation measures such as habitat restoration, wildlife crossing, and pollution control in preserving Malaysia's natural environment. This initiative may include school outreach programs, guided tours, informational signage at station, exhibition, and public awareness campaigns. Lastly, environmental monitoring after construction. Long-term monitoring is essential to detect and manage emerging environmental issues such as noise pollution, water contamination, air quality decline, habitat disruption, and interference with wildlife movement. This monitoring process includes the regular collection and analysis of key environmental indicators like noise levels, air and water quality, soil erosion, and biodiversity health. Sensors can be installed along the railway corridor to continuously measure noise and vibration levels. Water quality in nearby rivers and wetlands should be routinely tested for parameters such as stability, pH, or residues and chemical runoff associated with well operation. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syarul bin Mazi and my matric number is AA22019. So I'm going to continue with the act related to the issues. So the first one is the legal foundation of Ecrl. The Ecrl is one of the Malaysia's largest infrastructure right now. Projects, it's involving complex engineer across various states. So the impact multiple sector, which is environment, economy, transportation, and public life. Engineers play a crucial role beyond technical work. They must uphold legal, ethical, and environmental standards. Several national acts ensure that infrastructure is developed safely and sustainable and lawfully. So the first one is Environmental Quality Act 1974, Act of 1 to 7. It requires environmental impact assessment, which is EIA, for a large-scale project like Ecrl. They are responsible for proposing mitigation measures to reduce negative impact, ensure long-term environmental sustainability and public health protection. The engineers must identify potential environmental risks, which is air, water, soil, and biodiversity. The second one is Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, OSHA 1994. The first one is to ensure workplace is safety, focus on health and safety of all personnel involved in this project, which is the workers, the client, the engineers. And then the second one is engineer must design safe construction system design. And then the second one is carry out hazard identification and risk assessment, which is need to do every day. Third one is monitor safety compliance during entire project. They need to monitor every project because OSH is focused on safety. Safety is not optional, it's legal and ethical duty that protect life. The third one is Construction Industry Development Board Act 1994, CIDB Act. The regulating construction standard and professional. Every engineer required and need to be registered certified by CIDB. Enforce minimum standard for quality, safety, and professionalism. Ensure only competent individuals and firms are allowed to work in the national infrastructure. Promote public trust in infrastructure project through regulation and oversight. Because CIDB need to be alert with the engineers who not registered with CIDB, because this is a national project. It's national, international project which is gonna boost our economic and life safety. The fourth one is Street Drainage and Building Act 1974, Act 133, sorry. Urban planning and infrastructure safety. First one is to ensure that infrastructure project meet local authorities planning guidelines. Engineer must, the first one, design proper storm water drainage system, because if not proper, it's going to be flowed. The next one is ensure structural safety of building and railways near urban areas. Avoid harm to surrounding communities. Like I said, if not proper structural safety building or not proper storm water drainage, it's going to cause the public health, which is going to make it flood, maybe a landslide. So this next is the act enable urban growth while preserving safety and livability. This project going to boost our economic, which is we can go travel to one spot to another spot with high speed. So it's going really to boost our community and our economy. Next is Railway Act 1991, Act 463, governing railway operating and safety. Provide legal guidance for every stage from railway construction to daily operation. Engineer must follow technical operational standard to ensure rail safety and reliability. Avoid service disruption and accident. Support national transport goal and economic growth. Like I said, this project going to boost our economy. So this railway is really gonna boost and grow our economic. Encourage the creation of a modern, efficient and connect railway nation. The next one is Registration of Engineering Act 1967, REA 1967, Act 138. Upholding engineering professionalism. Required engineers to be registered with the Board of Engineering Malaysia, which is BEM. Ensure engineer, the first one, have to require qualification and ethical standard, are accountable for their professional exam, can be disciplined if they violated code of conduct. Build confidence in engineering service are safeguard for public interest. So BAM is the one who trusted the engineer. If they misguide, they can be disciplined if they violate codes and of conduct. So if the engineer service are not reliable, how can the public or the economic going to trust the engineer in Malaysia, right? For the conclusion for this slide is the Ecrl demonstrate how engineers shape the society through ethical, sustainable and responsible development, spanning multiple states, which is Selangor, Pahang, Terengganu and also Kelantan. It's enhanced economic growth, connectivity and national integration. Engineers are not limited to technical tasks. They must also ensure the public safety and health, protect the environmental, uphold professional ethics. The environmental impact assessment EIA reinforced the need for sustainability and proactive mitigation, complies with the key acts, which is Environmental Quality Act, CIDB Act, Registration of Engineering. It's to ensure accountability and public trust. So that's all from our group 2. Thank you for listening and lend me your ears.